You couldn't use water from the spring for the paraduma if a bird drank from it, except if it was a yaina. Now a yaina was unique because a yaina neshamitzetis. See, normally what a bird does is it collects the water in its beak, it lifts up its head, and it lets the water drip back. And now, when you do the bird watching, this is what you have to watch for. You see, I was going to do bird watching. I didn't know what to look for. So, but a yaina actually slurps up it drinks it without lifting up without letting it slide down like that. So therefore, it doesn't hold it in its beak, and therefore it won't invalidate the water of the mechatas, of the paraduma. V'misa, and if you say that a tzil is considered the a ben yaina, so lisnei chutz mi yaina tzil, why add in another bird there? There's another bird that also won't invalidate, because we just said that the tzil goes under the category of the ben yaina. So Rab Zera responds to this, and he says, yes, it's true that it slurps it in. It doesn't lift it up in its beak. However, does it release any saliva back into the thing? And this one does. That's why this one is not an exception to the rule. Okay. Rab Zera was a friend of Rabbi, but in the chart he was put in Israel because he moved from Babylon into Israel. He's the one that fasted 100 fasts to forget his Babylonian study, so he should be able to study in Israel. Although there is another girsa that says he fasted not to forget his.
And he did forget. Wow.
There's a problem because we find him saying things from Babylonia. If he fasted, why is he still saying things from Babylon? So it must be, didn't forget, it didn't work. So, or maybe the other girsa. Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, back to Rav Yehuda, second generation student of Rav and Shmuel. Hani kufshani tzutzaini. Kufshani is the word for a tor, which is, we called it a dove, or turtle dove, in Aramaic. And Tzutzaini, Rashi says, is the name of their place. Tzutzaini is a place, is a location. The Aruch says that Tzutzaini means that it has some sort of hanging feathers around its neck, like tzitzis. However, others say that it's Tzutzaini because of the sound that it makes. It's tz, 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 or something. It makes a sound like that. And Steinsaltz says that could be, the Steinsaltz Talmud says that it could be a Barbary dove that makes these sounds. Well, Rabbi Yehuda says that these birds are ksherim legabim mizbeach. These are kosher for the altar. Vehinin tyrin shel rachva. These are the tyrin shel rachva, which we just said go under the category of tyrin. Okay, back. This is who said that before? Rachva says in the name of Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, now we have it again. We have just another bird that goes under that category. The Gemara says, Meisvei. Yeah, we'll ask a question. The term Meisvei is a question that's asked, which we don't say specifically who we're asking it to, and we don't say who's asking it. If we knew who was asking it, it would say Masiv. Masiv Rav Kahana. If we knew who we were asking it to, it would say Eisvei. That's if you know. Meisvei is this general, the yeshiva is asking. Ezav is a type of grass that's used in the paraduma. It's used in the paraduma, but it's also used in the mitzaira process. And it says Ezav. This is the paraduma quote. V'lo Ezav yavan, but you can't use the yavan. I assume always meant grease. It can't be in the grease, the Greek hyssop. V'lo Ezav Kuchli. But you may be right, because here we have a color. Can't be the blue. Or maybe that's also a place. What is Kuchli?
It's a place. V'lo Ezav Romi. Because in the Middle East, Azov Godel רק במידל East.
Interesting.
Yes. However, that's the opinion of the Rambam here. Kuchli is the color. But on the side it says that the Aruch says that the Rambam says that it's a place. The Aruch says that it's a color. V'lo Ezav Raimi, and not the Roman Ezav. V'lo Midbari, and not the desert Hyssop. V'lo Kol Ezav Sheisha Shem Levai. And it can't be an Ezav that has a secondary name to it. It needs to be only Ezav. So what's our question here? We said before that you can use these birds, Kufshani Tzitzaini,
With Azov.
that has another name. The Torah says you need to have a tar. And we're saying Torah and Tzitzaini. That you can use that, it has a secondary name. It's not the original tar. Amar Abaye gives us a historical answer. Kol shenishtana shmei koydem matan Torah. V'kbid the Torah alav yesh le'shem levai pasal. Anything that it had a different name before the giving of the Torah, and the Torah tells us what we're supposed to take. So if the Torah says Ezav, and this grass had a different name at the time of the giving of the Torah, then the Torah wasn't referring to that. However, Vahani le'nishtana shman koydem matan Torah. These do have a different name, but at the giving of the Torah, they were just called that simple name. So therefore, when the Torah says what it is, at the time of the giving of the Torah, this was called the Torah. It wasn't called Torah and Tzitzaini. They didn't have these such a large vocabulary for all the different types. They had a general. It's a very modern answer, isn't it?
Shas Man Torah, that was the name of it. It was called whatever.
Right.
Ezav. Now we changed it. It's still the same thing.
Right. Rava Amar, Hani Kufshani Tzitzaini, Basrayu Stama Karilo. Where they are in Tzitzaini, they're just called Kufshani, which means Tyran, which is the translation of Tyran. See, that's where Rashi's Pshat fits in, that it has a place. It's not called Kufshani Tzitzaini. Like, you only get the name Yerushalmi if you moved from Yerushalayim somewhere else, right? In Yerushalayim, if that's where they lived, you wouldn't call them that, right? So the Tzitzaini, we're not called Tzitzaini in Tzitzaini, in Tzitzayin. Okay, that's Rava's answer. Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, Hani karzi de bechilfi sharu. These grasshoppers of the bechilfi, of the shrubs. Rashi says it's a type of nettle, urtish. The Aruch says that it's a type of reeds. These are kosher, these grasshoppers. However, the bekarbi, but if they come from cabbages, asiri. It's probably associated with if they're wild or if they're in the place of the cultivated places. For eating.
Oh,
Amar Ravina. Ravina says, "Umalkinan alay mishum sheretz oif." It's not just that we don't eat it because we don't know. No, you get malchus for it. This is definitely forbidden. V'amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, "Tzarda shari." It's another type of grasshopper, I guess. Barda. Tzarda shari means it's permissible. Barda, however, barda is aser. Why does Rashi say tzarda barda? Why does he do that? Did we just
in the base, yeah.
Oh. So barda must be the a name for a grasshopper. The simanech, but if you want to remember which one is aser, the one that has the word bar in it, bar minei, means take that out. Bar minei dahi means exclude that one. So that's a way of remembering which one is the forbidden one. The Gemara says marda, That's a suffix. That's Sveika. Amar Rabasi. Rabasi says, Shmeina Sveika saying, there's 8 doubts. Now we're going back to birds. You ready? We're going to read a bunch of names here. Chayva, which the Steinsaltz thought maybe is the Belan's crake. I don't know what that is. Chuga, it's a spotted crake. Suga, no one gave a translation for that in my other Gemara. Baharnuga is a corn crake. Tvitushlami is water rail. Marda is a purple swamp hen or something. Kuchilna, Ubarnafcha. Barnafcha, they said, was a common moorhen. Okay, my Sveikaya, what's the doubt with all of these 8?
Moorhen, that's what we have here on the canal with the red head. There's a little red thing.
Oh, yeah,
That's the moorhen.
oh, that's so interesting.
So you made it to the moorhen.
Uh-huh. What's the doubt about these birds? Oifis tahirin, karbana niklaf. Kosher birds, you can peel off the inner layer of the gizzard. Utmein ain't karbana niklaf. If it's not kosher, you can't peel the inner part of the gizzard. Bahani, but these 8 birds, karbana niklaf bisakina, you can peel it with a knife. So the question is this considered peelable? The Gemara asks, Vahi bar Avza, there was this goose, David Beimar Shmuel, the Layavi Kamaklif Kurbane, that it was in the house of Mar Shmuel, that you couldn't peel the gizzard. Vaisvei b'shimsha, they put it in the sun. Even the Rafi Iklif, and when it got softer, they were able to peel it. So if this you could peel with a knife, probably it should be the same. The Gemara says, Hasam, over there it's different. Because Kika Rafi Iklif biyada. When it got softer in the sun, you peeled it with your finger. With Hacha, Afagav Rafi Lai Meklaf Ela b'sakina. But here, these 8 birds, you can only peel it with a knife, even when it's soft. Amar Abaya. Tanagoyla de Agma, the tarnagol of the meadow, Chad Mishmena Sveikasu, that's one of the 8. Bahainu Mardu, and that's the bird Mardu, or Mardo, which we says is the purple swamp hen. That, okay. Amar of Papa, Rav Papa says, Tanagoyla de Agma Asira, that's forbidden. And Tanagolta de Agma Sharia. However, the hen of the meadow, that's, the male one is forbidden and the female one is permissible. V'simanach, if you want to remember this, amayni v'lei amaynas.
How can that be?
If it's the same family?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The male is... Yeah.
Taisva says that it's 2 different types. It can't be the same family. He says if it's the same family, that would be impossible.
Right.
But he says it's 2 different types and they happen to have the same name.
Okay.
So, amayni v'lei amaynas is a way of remembering which one is. Wow, we do have that here.
Can we see it?
Yeah,
We
they
do
call
have
it a
that.
swamp chick, in fact. That's what they... You go out in the Everglades.
That's I called it a swamp hen. Swamp
You
hen.
call it a swamp...
A more.
rooster and a swamp chicken. There they call it a swamp hen.
I have a water hen.
So that's the Marda. I have a new name for. Yeah, my kids give names to the ducks that come to the house. Oh, that's a moorhen. Oh, so they look very similar.
Yeah.
At least.
They're a little red. One is domestic and one is wild.
So the way of remembering is because who wasn't allowed to marry into the Jewish people was Ammon and Moav, but it's only the males of Ammon and Moav. So we're showing that the one with the male name is the one that's forbidden. The female name, Tarnagolta, that was kosher. That's the way of remembering. Dorish Maremar taught Tarnagolta da Agma Asira. The Tarnagolta of the meadow is forbidden, which is different. Why? Chazua de Darsavachla, we saw that it attacked and it ate. Vahainu Girusa, and this is Girusa. Now, Girusa, the Gemara later is going to talk about that it's a
Fish.
no, it's a fish. No, it's a
Black
bird.
fish.
That's a
Daf kufta, some base.
yeah. Over there was a bird. That there was a over there was a the fish was a shibuta. That was a different fish. Amar Rav says Shavar Andrapta Shari. Shavar Andrapta is the name of a bird. That's permissible. Piras Andrapta is asur, but Piras Andrapta that's forbidden. V'simanach, and if you want to remember, Piras Risha. There happened to be a fellow back in those days. His name was Piras, and he was a really bad guy. And because this bird has the name Piras, that's a way of remembering that Piras, the Andrapta, with the Piras on it, that's forbidden. Amar Avhuna Bunya Sharia, Parva Aser. Bunya is permissible, but Parva is forbidden. V'simanach Parvam Gusha. There was a magician. He was the one that made the Bais Parva. He was able to get the water to go uphill. And he is the one that said that it's a way of remembering that this bird is not kosher because this bird has the name Parva in it.
Do you use that in base middle? You use that?
I guess I have to stop. Yeah, I wanted to finish to the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah, the Mesh Chacham brings down here. There's Mesh Chacham here.
Okay.